I've gotten the max daily rewards with my free-to-play account on Kraken Anomaly Interception. As you know, you only need phase 7 to get the max daily rewards, and I made that my goal for my free-to-play account. And it did not require me to be level 400 and have only done it at level 361. But by no means this was easy to achieve, as it does require you to have the correct units and investments still. Without proper investments, you won't be able to do this at this low level. But you see, I want to be lazy when doing my dailies. Personally, if I can do it with the team where I spend the least amount of effort as much as possible, I would choose that option. So the team that I decided to use is this. Alice is actually a possible replacement for Summer Sakura, and it actually does more damage, but it was a lot more difficult for me because of fast charging, and again, I want to spend the least amount of effort as much as possible when doing my dailies. I'll talk more about the teams later on and talk about the different substitutes that you can do, but first I want to address something real quick. There seems to be a misunderstanding. A good number of people recently have voiced out about how I only know whale account or don't consider free-to-play accounts or anything. In case you don't know, I have 3 different accounts I play on Nikke every day, and one of them is fully free-to-play, and this account has historically gotten top 3% at every single solo raid, starting with solo raid number 4 with Train, Alexander, or Altizen, however it was called. It was actually called Alexander, but they named it Altizen, which was around the time when they lowered the bar for frame 3 on solo raid from top 1% into top 3%, which is kind of what motivated me to keep it up for this free-to-play account. So I don't understand where people were coming from when they say that I'm only a whale and I don't know how free-to-play feels like, but it's understandable if you guys just watch on YouTube and not on Twitch. In case you do not know, I do have over 3,100 hours on Nikke streaming as of this recording, and I've been constantly streaming at least around 5 days a week and sometimes even 7 days a week. Part of my stream content has always been using my free-to-play account when doing challenging content. When testing things out and providing you guys information, I take into consideration free-to-play account as well, but do keep in mind that I try to min-max things as well. I actually tried to keep this account's level as low as possible, and in fact, I've parked this free-to-play account at low level 300s for the longest time. And even if I wasn't leveling it up, I still do its dailies. I had an enormous amount of resources saved up before this video, and that is because I was planning to test contents like these at low level as much as possible. Part of it was I was planning to use this account also for doing content on overclock simulation, which was like an anomaly interception where you are also level capped to 400, but not level synced. So trust me when I say this, I do try my best to level things out when making my tests. I do play this free-to-play account daily and I do min-max it. That being said, what kind of investments does it look like if you want to clear it at this low level? Well, actually a lot. Just to give you an idea, I barely got phase 7 with this account with this team used. But the investments it took was Scarlet Black Shadow at 10-7-10 with SR doll level 15 and 83% elemental, 11% attack line, 2 lines of charge speed and 1 line of max ammo and 1 line of charge damage. Summer Sakura was 7-10-10 with SR doll level 5 and 80% elemental and 23% attack, and the rest of supports that I had used had max out recommended skills at the very least and bare minimum overloads. Too crazy of an investment? Yeah. More realistically, I'm seeing this to be more possible at 381 with a little bit less investment, but this was the lowest I was trying with the low copies I had. And if they had max scores and optimal lines and such, I could see it with around level 341. Around level 321 is likely when the level where min-max optimal character set will be able to clear around phase 6 of Kraken. I'm not sure about lower level, but I could see it if they have tons of duplicates on their characters. But chances are someone with that level plus at this point aren't huge whales. In case you didn't know, there's a Powerspike every 20 levels plus 1 breakpoint in Nikke. So this would be at level 301, 321, 341, 361, etc. Going from that extra 1 level going from level 300 to 301 or 320 to 321 is roughly equivalent of 10 additional previous levels or so around. And actually at higher levels, that Powerspike breakpoint is a bit more. That is equivalent to about 15 levels or so, as it does scale better for each breakpoint. So make it a goal when you feel like you're bottlenecked to test things out when you reach these level breakpoints. The next important thing is the teams and characters that you have. As usual, until there's other better units, you'll have to accept the fact that getting high score on this boss are likely using these characters for now. I've used different teams, but mostly it revolves around 2 characters as the main source of damage, but I'll try to introduce substitutes as well, either using Scarlet Black Shadow or using Summer Sakura or both. As you have guessed from earlier, elemental gears become crucial and having gear on at least one of them is important. These units provide insane effectiveness for this boss that it's hard to get around without those units, but as usual, if you don't have any better units, you'll have to deal with substitutes for now. For example, Litter to be replaced with Dorothy, the killer wife, but if you really don't, then Volume may be an option. But really for our burst 1 option is fairly limited right now, as the top burst 2 units right now has crucial buffs, but they don't have any cooldown reduction. For additional DPS, the main core DPS for Kraken would be either Alice or Summer Sakura. Alice is important on the premise that you are using Scarlet Black Shadow as the other DPS. Alice can be either used as the main DPS or as a buffer. But if you're not using Scarlet Black Shadow, then you have others instead like Red Hood, Winter Ludmilla, Maxwell, or whatever you really have left. Next is if you're using Crown, then we'll need a buffer slot. The buffer can be either Naga or Winter Ludmilla or Alice or Maxwell. There may be more in the future when they release newer units, but these are the top units right now. I'll try to update the Golden Kraken section in the guide sheet when possible. For Burst 2, Crown to be replaced by Summer Rosanna, or you would end up have to use like Tia Naga or Blank or Nor. You might have to replace Naga if you're not using the Tia Naga combo or Crown, but that's going to be on you to figure out if that works or not. Another team that could be used is the Shotgun team with Dove and Bunny Soda and Guilty alongside with the Bunnies, Slank and Noir. But chances are if you have these units built, you likely have built the other ones mentioned before, unless you don't really have either Scarlet Black Shadow or Summer Sakura. Naturally, making substitutes will make the requirements for achieving the higher score more difficult. And as usual, if I do find some substitutes, I'll make them on the raid sheet. I have updated the Golden Kraken page in the usual raid sheet, so you can check that out. The approach to fighting this boss is mostly similar to the solo raid version, so you can refer to the old guide that I have made. A few key points to remember that will help on this boss is to kill phase 1 front tentacles as soon as possible. The earlier the better, and if you can reach phase 2 and 1.5 billion points within 1 minute 30-second timer, then usually you are in a good phase for clearing phase 7. If you're using Summer Sakura, you'll just have to make sure to upkeep her skill 1 buff by making sure to destroy the parts within the first 15 seconds after every 30 seconds. This is to make sure that you have an uptime for her skill 1. If you have to delay killing the other back tentacles and save it when the new 30-second timer pops in. You only need to destroy 2 tentacles every 30 seconds at minimum if needed, but you're gonna be doing that anyways as you're destroying the front tentacles. During phase 2, delay as much as possible on killing the tentacles and then focus hitting the core. Here's an example clear fight of my clear run with my free-to-play account, and good luck with the rest of you.